How to set up entities and dimension tables in Mitzu. In this video, I'll cover adding dimension tables and listing entities inside your Mitzu workspace. First, why would you do that, and how can you leverage it in your day-to-day work with Mitzu? I previously set up this workspace. It is connected to a BigQuery data warehouse, and I have listed 9 tables. These event tables allow us to use them immediately for product and marketing analytics. Let me switch to the Entities tab and explain what entities are in terms of data. Entities in your datasets are typical objects or definitions you use to analyze your business, product, or service. A mandatory entity currently exists, the user. We are working with marketing and product analytics, so the user entity itself is a key concept in Mitzu. You cannot remove it. However, there can be different entities that might be interesting for your use case. Typically, companies, especially B2B companies, have a team entity. If you have an e-commerce business, you may have an item that can be sold online through your application or service. Almost every company has requirements for website visitors analytics, so they might have a session entity in their data warehouse. I have listed these 3 entities along with the user entity in my workspace. How can I use them? First, I can go to the Event Tables tab and reconfigure my tables. I can see now that I have more of these identifier columns that I can optionally configure. Now, you could either type the column names manually or fetch and select them from the data warehouse. I have the team ID in each table, except one, in my data warehouse. This identifies the user's account, which was used when they performed an activity or took an action in the application. Essentially, any event the user generated may have a team ID. That identifies the team the user was signed into at the time. As you can see, when I updated my workspace and list of tables, I attached my team IDs to my tables. However, as I mentioned, one table does not have a team ID, so the team ID configuration will be ignored. Now we're fine. We have the tables attached to the workspace, and all are indexed. Second, I can list dimension tables from a data warehouse for any entity, such as teams and users. I chose the schema where I store all my tables. I can see that the user profiles describe the user entity, and the team profiles describe the team entity in my data warehouse. I will first add the user profiles. I will choose the entity, then the primary key. If I add the table to my list, we just attached one dimension table to our workspace for the user entity. Now we have to do the same for the team entity. In the same way, we have to choose our schema. After that, we select the entity and the primary key field for the team dimension. And finally, I have to index the selected tables. If I switch to the Insights page, I can immediately see the effect of these added dimensions. Now, I'm in segmentation in this workspace. I selected my Block Added event. I have some event properties, but I also have user properties, such as country codes, coming from the user profiles dimension table. I can filter on that. I also see the team properties like company size, and I can filter on these as well. What happens under the hood is that I have event and dimension tables in my data warehouse. These are my user profiles and team profiles tables. Mitzu essentially joins them during the selection process. The filters are also applied here. As you can see, I have a left join to these 2 tables, and all the analytics are based on these facts and dimension tables. Now, I wanted to show you the lookup feature. You can access the lookup for each entity and perform a free text search. For example, if I visit the Team tab here, I can look up each team. I can type awesome, and I will see all the teams that contain that string in any column in the dimension table. I can also list other columns here to visualize. Let me pick a team with 10 employees and a pro subscription. By clicking on the row, I will enter focus mode. Any analytics I perform will only display results restricted to this team. Let's choose the Block Edited event, and I hope to find some data for this team. Count the number of users they have over time instead of event totals. I can see that they had some activity in that period. One day, 6 active unique users with block-edited events were in our application from this team. Now, you will be able to integrate and use entities and dimensions in Mitzu. If you have any questions, feel free to contact our support team.